but what is the method that you are delivering them through? That also requires innovation, not just innovation on the underlying content.
I actually think what's starting to shift is, one, it's been forced upon us, right? Because of COVID and going virtual. The local chapters don't necessarily always have the budget or the strength to do something in a virtual world. They weren't set up that way, right? They don't have a whole website. They don't have, they were part of a parent organization's website, or or they operated through the parent to do that portion of it. But the live programming was done locally.
Right.
I think that if you think about it, the NPR, are we shifting to where 80% of the programming is going to happen from the bigger organization and get pushed out? And maybe the local delivers it, or is part of the delivery mechanism, but it's only 15 to 20% is delivered at the local level. And that bigger piece is delivered, and it is delivered through a virtual or a combination of a hybrid model where, part of it is virtual and part of it is a live in-person experience. I don't think the live in-person experience is going away. And the strength traditionally of the big association model was that for young people coming into the business world, it was an opportunity to meet people outside of your own firm who were in your field, who you might develop a mentor-mentee relationship with, who is outside your firm. And so you still want to be able to provide that, but that platform you're providing it on is going to be very different over the next 5 to 10 years than it has traditionally been. And we're already starting to see that change.
Yeah.
The big change is going to be on the model, as you say. Am I willing to give $300, $400 in membership? Yeah. And is my firm willing to reimburse me for it?
Right.
And if I now have to have 3 or 4 or 5 memberships because, in the financial services world, there are, designations, 15 different designations. And depending on what field or part of the field you're in, 3 or 4 may be applicable.
Right.
Well, if you think about it under the traditional membership model, 3 of those memberships, you're talking about $1,000 to $1,200 a year.
Right.
Just in membership fees.
Right.
And how much of the continuing ed is embedded in that fee versus do I have to pay extra for it anyway?
Yeah.
We've followed the model that if you're a member, very little of it do you pay extra for. Usually it's only the big conference, right? The annual conference is an extra charge. Yeah. And all of the other activities you do are part of your membership fee.
Right.
But others don't do that model. And so I think when I start to look at it in our planning and my roadmap in terms of thinking about the next 18 months, 3 years, 5 years, and 7 years. How do we have to shift our technology? Because that's the engagement, right? That's the primary method of my engagement with my members around the globe. Although I do have chapters, and we do some engagement at that chapter level. How do we can we replicate in some measure that in-person networking experience in a virtual environment?
Yeah.
And make it valuable to the member. And beyond just ultimately we have to deliver good content that helps you develop your skills. But that's only a part of it.
Right.
The other reason you're in the association is to meet people who can help you in your career.
Right.
Whether directly or indirectly, right? It's like, hey, I've got a job and you'd be perfect for it. Or, hey, can I talk to you about understanding, this dynamic I'm seeing in my business?
Right. Have you experienced this before? Right. Yeah. This is new territory for me. What can you share with me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that consuming it on the piece basis or on the subscription basis as you do it is going to become a bigger part of it. Just when you look at generationally, because for better or worse, the phones that we have and the apps have delivered that, that demand of I can have an app on there and maybe I pay $4 for the app and I have it, but then I can buy additional services through the app as I need them.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, it's going to be fascinating to see how things develop, and I'm sure there'll be multiple emerging models as multiple models exist today, but share some similarities. I'm sure that'll be the case. One of the things that I think about sometimes as kind of an example for this is to some degree where like publishing has gone. In that publishing has become, for example, if you think about, I'm thinking like the Harvard Business Review, for example, right? It's like their model is really typically high quality content written by subject matter experts, right? There's like true expertise behind the content that's published. Again, I don't know all of what they publish, but some of the things that I've seen. And as a non-member, I get access to a certain limited amount per month, right? Or per week. And then if I want additional content, then I can subscribe for a 30-day period or a 60-day period or a 90-day period and get unlimited access to a certain category of content.
Right.
And then maybe there's additional content that's still only available to me as a paying member, but for an additional charge, whether that's a virtual roundtable with an author of a piece, with a subject matter expert, for example, or something regional or something that's more networking and professional development focused, but still just with kind of paying members. I think that's an interesting kind of corollary, and I wonder if some of those dynamics will also develop in an association space, because one of the assets that professional associations have is true subject matter expertise.
Oh, yeah.
And to expose the right amount of that to attract people in the profession and to also kind of protect other components of that behind the membership to make that enticing, that's always a bit of a push-pull. But I think that it has to move more in the direction of exposure and then giving people more opportunities for deeper engagement with behind paying.